Hi, welcome to Love the Movie Troy. This is Troy and this is the channel where we talk about movies. So look, check me out. In this episode is Mandalorian talk. Alright, Star Wars Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 2. The episode is titled The Passenger or something like that. Now, this episode, I gotta say right off the jump, it is not as good as the first one. Okay, I gotta lower y'all's expectations right off the rip, right? But that being said, it was still a good episode. I do have a couple of problems. Not a lot, but it's a couple that kind of bugged me. So look, check me out. This is a straight up spoiler discussion. Don't watch this video yet. Come back to it when you've watched the video. Now, the problems I have with this episode, I have to talk about it first. I honestly feel like the episode lingered too long. It wasn't getting nowhere. I was like, okay, what is this episode about? You know, and the thing is, it's funny because it was so well directed. This episode was directed by Patton Reed, who is a good director. He did like the Ant-Man movies and he did other shows. He knows what he's doing. And so because of the good direction, you always think that something is about to happen, right? Because he's good with suspense. You know, so something very suspenseful at the beginning, and then it was a cool fight, and it's over. Then something else was like, oh, what is about to happen now? Oh, nothing. But nothing didn't really happen. And this is one of those episodes, like I said in my last review, this show is like a show that takes baby steps, right? Like it's about the slow progression of a story. So episodes are going to feel like filler episodes. Episodes are gonna come and you be like, what was the point of this episode? Right after something intriguing just happened, what was the point of this episode? Well, later on you're gonna see that it meant something, and every now and then every show has filler, so it might just be a filler that didn't mean anything. I think that this show will mean something later on, and I'll talk about that a little bit later in the review. But I just felt like coming right off of that brilliant episode with the big reveal of Boba Fett, you kind of wanted something, you know, just give us something, you know, and it really didn't. I also gotta say, I didn't like the way the mission that the Mandalorian goes on. I didn't like the way the mission started. The idea of a gambler just basically telling you, hey, you know, gamble on this bet and I'll get you what you need. If you don't know, the Mandalorian is looking for other Mandalorians. And he just takes this girl's word. I mean, he does know the lady. I can't think of her name. I don't like the character, the lady that's trying to be funny. I don't like that character. But he does a deal with this alien, saying that he's going to drop her and her eggs off at some planet. And then when the Mandalorian does that, the alien will show them other Mandalorians. It just sounds like a lie, you know, and you just believe that. That's what problem I had with it. It's like, come on, Mando, you smarter than that, man. Now, she might be telling the truth, but you got to do better than just, oh, Mandalorian? Oh, it's a Mandalorian here? Okay, let's do it. That's a deal. I was like, come on now. And if this ended up being a trap, I wouldn't have liked this episode because it would have been too obvious. Now, that being said, that's all of the real problems I had with this episode. I actually liked this episode a lot. And my favorite part of this episode was the adventure elements of the episode. Star Wars, if you watch the original trilogy, the ones that came out in 1977, I think 80 and 83, all of those Star Wars movies had an adventure mission type of aspect to them. It was always about them going on some kind of mission and then they end up in danger and then it's suspenseful and then, you know, it's a lot of comedy and, you know, you just felt like you were on this journey with the characters. And I like how this show felt like that old school Star Wars that I've always loved. Them going on an adventure, they crash out of ice planet, they end up stumbling into a spider's nest and then they have to escape. They had to get away from the two ships. It just felt great. It felt like Star Wars, and I think that's what I loved about it. I felt like it was a journey. I felt like it was fun. And again, man, I talked about it in the last episode. The budget, they've upped the budget. Even in an episode like this where it's just a filler don't really mean anything type of episode, you still have a big ass spider, like something that looks like it should be facing Godzilla at the end of it, and it's just such a spectacle. You know, at the end is you're just blown away by how real it looks for this to be a television show or a streaming service show. It looks like it's done on $100 million budget with a big spider trying to attack them, and they're trying to run from it. You just love it. And like in the last episode when they fought the crate dragon, it went IMAX and you seen it on a bigger screen. You know, it was like, whoa, the scope, the spectacle. That's what this season is about, and that's what it seems like to me anyway. I like the episode. I think the two rebel fighters, I mean, I understand they're not rebels anymore, but the two fighters, I think they will come back in later episodes. I think they're gonna come back to help out the Mandalorian. They could have arrested the Mandalorian, but they didn't, and I think they're gonna come back to help him in some kind of way later on. And I think that's how this episode is gonna be involved with the overall arcing story, those two characters. But yeah, overall, I liked the episode. It was a good episode. Not a great episode, but I'm equally as excited for this season as I was last week. It was a good episode, very well directed, very well acted. Everything looked great, high budget. Hey man, I gotta say, we're in for a treat this season. Star Wars, let's get it. So yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you. Please remember to like, share, subscribe if you like the video, and that'll be all. Y'all have a good one.